fellow Americans, allow me in closing to emphasize once again that the aims and purposes of this administration are the aims and purposes of all of our citizens, men, women, and children, regardless of sex, regardless of color, black, white, red, yellow, and all of the equally attractive shades in between. Let us remember always that we can and will accomplish these goals because our purpose and our resolve are derived from an unshakable belief in a benevolent power, worshipped by all of us under many names, and through whose all-seeing omnipotence, I shall humbly say, good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a nationwide address by President Manfred Link, coming to you directly from the Oval Office. For a printed transcript of tonight's speech, please send 25 cents and a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Mr. President, White House, Washington, D.C.
We are back in our Washington studios. We've just heard President Link's State of the Union address. And here, with me, to lend us his personal observations on the President's speech, is Senator William Wild Bill Hubley. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you, Howard.
Senator Hubley, what is your perception of how the President's speech will be received by Congress?
Well, Howard, I do want to study the President's remarks a bit before I try and second-guess my colleagues on the Hill, but I think I can safely say that it's a good news, bad news situation.
And what is the good news, Senator?
Well, the good news is that the President is quite obviously in firm control of a number of tricky situations, both on the national and the international scene.
And what's the bad news?
Well, frankly speaking, in terms of implementing any of the programs that he's outlined, I think, and I mean this as no disrespect toward our fine citizens of Oriental extraction, that the President hasn't got a Chinaman's chance.
Of course, we have to point out that you do represent the opposition party.
Oh, yes, but the loyal opposition. I am not in agreement, for instance, with my great good friend, Senator Baylor.
Yes. I believe he referred to President Link as a depraved halfwit.
Yes, he did, and I think that could be called overreacting. The President is not a depraved halfwit.
He is not, you say?
Oh, certainly not. Of course, that's the kind of exaggeration we can expect in an election year, but halfwit, no. Depraved, I seriously doubt it.
Nonetheless, it has been suggested that the members of your party have been doing everything they can to see that the President's programs never reach a vote. In other words, you and your congressmen have been using every possible means at your disposal to sabotage the executive.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Is that fair?
Well, Howard, I don't know what you mean by fair, but you have to remember a number of hard facts about politics. Not the least among them being that we are spending a great deal of money to win an election, and people get really upset if they give you a lot of money and then you lose. And that, I think, is one of the strengths of a democracy. You know, Howard, I've often thought of how strongly our lives are governed by the tiniest twists of fate. And of course, the President has to face the fact that he is dealing with a Congress in which his party is in the minority.
But Senator, the Congress will have to face the fact that President Link was elected to office by a slim but definite majority.
Yes, but that victory must be weighed against the fact that his opponents, the presidential and vice presidential candidates of my party, were killed in that tragic automobile accident 3 days before the election.
Yet it must be remembered that nearly 30 million Americans actually voted for the two corpses.